Well, good morning, Facebook world. I trust this is coming to you live and correctly, that I'm not upside down, or that you can, hear me and see what I'm doing. Really appreciate you tuning in this morning. I apologise in advance for any technical glitches. This is the first time that we've run a Facebook Live, and I'm really looking forward to see how things progress. So you'll have to bear with me as we go through, but yeah, really grateful to have you here to see this video, to take the time this morning to come along and spend some intentional time working on your business. Now, it has been a brutal few months and brutal couple of years. I know that very well. I know that firsthand. My service-based business at the moment is currently shut down as a result of the restrictions that are in place at the moment and the lockdown that's in place, which gives me a bit more opportunity to start working on my business, which is generally a pretty hard thing for me to give regular time to. And I know that that's every business owner's issue, is actually finding time to put aside the day-to-day stuff, to put down the tools, and to actually work on your business. And if there's one opportunity we have as business owners at the moment, during these lockdowns, when things are up in the air, when we can't necessarily get out on the tools, or we can't open our shop, or we can't, get out and do what we do, we really have a great opportunity to spend that time working on our business and making our businesses stronger, making our businesses more efficient, looking at ways in which we can increase our client base, that we can increase our revenue, that we can reduce costs and all that sort of thing. And so the intention this morning is that we just take one element that, in my experience, has been a really crucial element to the success of our business. And that is GMB, which is referring to Google My Business. Now, Google My Business, I'll show you in a sec. I'm going to bring up a live feed of my internet browser, and we're going to run you through all the practicals around Google My Business, and along the way show you how it's had a great effect on my service-based business here in Melbourne. Regardless of whether or not you're a local business, if you've got people coming to your business, or if you're going out to people's places, or businesses or residences or commercial properties, Google My Business is such a powerful tool. Now, Google My Business, for those of you who don't know, just let me switch onto this screen here, and we're going to bring this other one across just as we work all these things out. All right, here we go. Bringing this across to you now. You can see that we've got Google My Business. So if I, for instance, was looking for a plumber in my local area, let's say I was looking for a plumber in Melbourne to come and fix my leaking pipes, Google My Business is referring to this particular section here. The first part of the Google search results that come up is this website, and then you've also then got the 3 listings there of different businesses in that area, and you can also view more from there. So Google My Business is all based on this map and the search engine results that come from there, and the contact details that come from there as well. So when I'm referring to Google My Business, I'm referring to an online listing that you will either already have, or if you don't, you can create, and that's literally going to help get us ranking on this top section of Google when people search for your kind of business online. Now, Google search is an absolute juggernaut. So what you'll find at the moment, and if I go back to this, let's just come out of here, what you'll find is Google search, like the Google search engine, has a 92% market share as of this year, 2021, and that's continuing to rise. So 92% of people, when they're jumping online to search a question or to look for a business to use, or looking for a product to buy, 92% of them are using Google to do it. So it's really important that we've got a strong Google presence. Now, Google My Business is great, a great tool for you to increase your online presence. And best of all, it is free. So you've got no excuse to not be, managing your Google listing well. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through this, the setup of a Google listing, but also just briefly have a look at how you can optimize your Google listing as well. Just as much like a website, you can optimize your listing so that you begin to creep higher and higher up into the search results. With the ideal is that we're going to get into position 1, 2, or 3. Getting into those positions puts you in very good stead for people who are searching for your business or product to find you. So, Google My Business. For our business in Melbourne, it has legitimately brought in a few $1 million worth of revenue over the last few years. So a lot of our clients are searching for us in their local area, looking for a lawn and garden maintenance business to use, and will go to Google first. And we've worked hard over the last few years to really strengthen our profile on Google and our presence on Google. Now, Google as a company, and particularly Google Search, the whole desire of Google Search and of Google is to bring the most relevant information to the person who's using it. So it's in Google's best interests that if someone's searching for a plumber local to them in their area, or they're searching for a garden business, or they're searching for a place to buy some new furniture, it's in Google's best interest that they bring the most possible relevant information to that person as they can. Otherwise, people aren't going to use Google because it's not coming back with search results or information that's actually relevant to what they're looking for. So to be relevant, to be a relevant piece of information that Google can send to those people who are looking for your business, there's a lot of little aspects in a Google My Business listing that we're about to have a look at that will help you to rank better. Similarly to a website, the phrase search engine optimization gets thrown around a lot, and you probably get a million telemarketer calls offering you search engine optimization services. Now, on a website, there's definitely a time and a place for that, and the same with Google My Business. It's all about optimizing the content that you have on there, posting regularly, refreshing it, so that Google sees that you are a relevant business and you're an active business to your prospective clients. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to just head into my Google My Business listing. What I'd be keen to do is let's just check out our Facebook feed here. If you're tuning in and watching, so that I know you're there, please just chuck a comment to say g'day in the live chat feed, just so that I know that you're there. And also let me know whether or not you've currently got a listing, a Google My Business listing or not, and that'll help me to put more of a focus on creating a list, or more of a focus in today's live to optimize our current listing. So please, just in the chat, just say g'day so I know who's here, and yeah, would love to see who's tuning in. While that's happening, I'm just going to set up our Google My Business page. So the example that I'm going to use today is a Google My Business listing that I've already set up for my service-based business, and this is particularly based down on the Mornington Peninsula. That's the local area that I've based this one on. So once you've set up a Google My Business listing, it's really easy to do. If you haven't already, jump onto Google. In the search term, just write Google My Business. The first page that will come up will send you to a link where you can set up an account. You don't need to have a Google account as such. You just need to provide an email address, and we can go through the process of setting that up as well. So just so you can have a look at the elements that make up a Google My Business listing, we're going to have a look here. So what happens is it brings up on Google, this is my profile. This is the listing that shows up on Google and is made public. So we've got photos, relevant photos to the business. We've got the area that the business services, and we can set that up in the settings as well. We've got our business name. We've got the number of reviews we've got, plus the average reviews. 5 stars is great, but appreciate, and I've got listings as well that don't have 5 stars, and we'll sort of touch on reviews as well, but that's a really important part of having a successful and optimized Google My Business page. We head down a bit further, we've got a phone number. There's also generally a link to the website as well, which you can see, which will take you straight to your website. If you don't have a website yet, that's okay. You certainly still set up a Google My Business listing. Having a business phone number is definitely the most important thing at this stage. Yeah, you can set one up with a phone number and a physical address as well. There's posts, there's that sort of thing. So that's how it shows up on its own. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some of the elements today of a Google My Business listing, what you need to set up, probably what you need to put a bit of focus in or focus on when you set it up. And then we're then going to head across to optimizing some of those things so that your particular listing starts to do better than your competitors and ranks you up higher and higher. Now, one of the great things about Google My Business listings is they don't take long to set up at all, and they can have quite an immediate effect. So if you ran a cafe, for example, in a particular area where there wasn't many other cafes, or you ran a plumbing business where there wasn't many other plumbing businesses, it wouldn't take you very long for your Google My Business listing to show up in that map and potentially show up in the top 3 listings of the Google search map very, very quickly, like within a matter of days. And instantly your online presence is boosted considerably. So now I'm just going to go into the back end of Google My Business where we can set up our profile and change our profile and whatnot. So you'll end up with a Google My Business dashboard, and we're just going to briefly sort of go through the setup process and focus more on the elements of where you should be putting your focus when you set this up. We've got home, we've got posts, info, insights, reviews, messages, photos, product, services, etc., etc. Where we're going to start off this morning is just on info. So info is the general info of your business, and these are some of the elements that you're going to want to make sure you've included in your listing. So every Google My Business listing needs to be attached to a physical address. Now, for example, you might run a service-based business where you're going to people's addresses. What you need to do when you sign up to your listing is use your residential address. Now, once your profile's set up, there's options so that you can hide your residential address, so people don't actually know your physical address where you're based. Knocking on your door looking for a cafe at all hours of the morning, or looking to utilize your lawn mowing services or your plumbing services in the middle of the night, you're able to hide your address. But you do need a physical address, because what Google will do once you set up your page is they will want to verify that you are a real person with a real business and that you're running a legitimate enterprise. So what they'll do is they're going to send you a postcard for verification. Now, all that postcard has is a code on the back, and then you'll end up logging into your Google My Business dashboard, inputting that code, and then that says to Google, all right, this is a legitimate person, a real life person who's got a physical address. We know they're real. We'll verify that, and their business, must be legitimate, and then they can have an online listing. So you'll need to put that in at some stage. Service areas, you just add in all the service areas that you do, specific suburbs that you look after. You can have multiple. I generally say the best, or the amount to have to start off with is no more than 10 suburbs, and obviously the most local suburbs that you want, or the suburbs that you want to pick work up in. But I would keep that at a maximum of 10 for the time being. Your business hours, particularly if you're a physical business, it's really important that these are up to date and reflect the hours that you actually operate. Contact number here, very important, very, very important to have a correct contact number in there so that people can actually call you. A website, if you've got it. Like I said before, it doesn't matter if you don't have a website yet. Certainly a contact number is the most important thing here, but for other reasons, and that'll be another live video down the track, if you don't already have a website, where have you been? Where have you been? If you don't already have a website, you really need to make sure that that's a priority for your business moving forward. And again, it's just where people are going to find businesses nowadays, it's online. Gone are the days of the yellow pages. Gone are the days, just relying on word of mouth. You have to have an online presence. In 2021, and in my experience, even 10 years ago, you really needed to have that online presence to start getting in front of your prospective clients. The next one here that we'll look at is services. This is where you list off all your services, and you'd almost use these as keywords. So services relevant to your business, obviously running a lawn and garden maintenance company. I've listed out a whole heap of stuff that we do, and I would suggest that you list as many of your services as possible as well and fill that out. There's also an area here which will be for a description or a little bit of info, and obviously when you opened as well. Now, this is actually quite important. This one here, opened in May 2010 for us. Make sure that that's relevant. Don't leave that one blank. Make sure that you actually fill out your start date. The longer you've been in business, the more credibility that builds with your prospective client. So not only when they see that you've been in business for more than 10 years, will they go, okay, well, these guys are still in business, they must do a good job, or they must know what they're doing. But also that actually shows up as a special feature on the Google My Business listing. When someone sees that, there's a little icon that comes up and says, has been in business for more than 10 years. So making sure that that's up to date and that's actually been filled out with the start date that you had. Like if I click on that, I can input the opening date of our business, and that goes in there. So that's generally the general info that you want to be setting up. Three other areas that we'll focus on briefly today, because I do think that they're really important when setting up a Google My Business or in optimizing a Google My Business. Photos, regularly posting photos up on here like you would on your Instagram, having plenty of content that shows what you do. One of the things that I've been working on in the last couple of months is, so I run a few different Google My Business listings for various businesses, and what we're finding is that photos need to be regularly posted. Now what that does is it helps Google to go, okay, this business is regularly posting content on their Google My Business listing, so they are relevant. And what that'll do is, in comparison to other businesses that aren't updating their profile regularly, that aren't adding content, that aren't adding photos, if you're not doing that, you'll probably find that your listing on Google My Business starts to drop, and businesses that are regularly updating their content and uploading new photos and posts, they'll start to climb the ranks. Again, the whole idea and the whole purpose of Google My Business is to start climbing up in those ranks to get you up in those top spots that show up when someone is looking for your kind of business. So photos are a really important aspect of content for this. The other one is posts as well. Now, depending on what sort of business you've got an option here to post regularly, and it could be a little blog post. It could be a, in this case, we've got an example of a florist. We've got a special coming up for Mother's Day, and here's what you can expect. Or for a service-based business, you might say, hey, look, this is our approach to fixing these kinds of common problems in your home, or this leaking tap, or just creating regular content for people to be able to see. Now, in my experience, not a lot of people will actually go through and look at that content, but if they do click onto your page, it's doing two things. Again, that content and regularly posting is going to help you rank higher. The Google algorithm is going to see that you're posting content regularly and that you're relevant as a result. But the second thing it'll do is that if someone does click onto your Google My Business listing, they'll see that you are posting regularly and that you are an active business online. I don't think there's anything worse than jumping on a Facebook page for a business or a Google My Business listing, and you see that the page hasn't been updated or touched since the day it was started. You'll see the blurb, the info blurb, you'll see the profile photo, and you'll see the background pic, and that's it. Nothing else has been touched on that page for years, and it just gives you a sense of I don't know, is this business still operating? Is this business legitimate? You're wanting to reduce that. So by building up your presence, by building up your expertise in your area, making sure that you're posting, as regularly as you can, will help to make a big difference. Now, again, the content side of Google My Business, for me, I haven't really focused a lot on this in the last few years. But in the last 12, 18 months, now that I've had the time to start working on it, I'm starting to see that posting content and posting photos is having a big effect on where I rank in the Google My Business system. Now, last but not least, for today's purposes, are reviews. Reviews are a big factor when Google decides what businesses they're going to rank. Now, it's not necessarily the case that they're just going to rank 5-star businesses. They're going to rank businesses with lots of different scales of reviews, good and bad and ugly. When it comes to online reviews, I'd really encourage you not to be scared to be, getting reviews. I think reviews are a really good litmus test, not just for people seeing your business, but it's actually really good for you too. Like, there's nothing better than having all 5-star reviews. In my instance, I've got a couple of bad reviews over the years. Surprise, surprise. And it doesn't necessarily discredit your business. If anything, it actually, when a prospective client looks at those reviews and goes, oh, this guy's got a bad review, the one thing at a minimum we need to do as business owners is respond to those reviews. As some of the reviews that get left could be super unreasonable. The client's called you at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning and couldn't get through, and they've decided, nah, that's terrible customer service, so they write you a bad review. But you still get a chance to respond to that, and if you can at least flesh out and say, look, this is actually the situation, we're not open at 1 a.m. on a Sunday, other people who end up seeing that review will see that you're not in the wrong. That person's actually being unreasonable. Likewise, if you get a bad review because you've actually done something, a bit dodgy in business, or you didn't get back to someone, or you didn't respond, or your customer service wasn't where it needed to be, then just honestly respond to that review. Like, apologize, reach out to them, say, look, if there's anything we can do, we'd like to make this right, and actually take stock of what they're saying. Actually think about, okay, in this instance, I've actually, warranted I only should have got 2 stars, or I should have only got 1 star because of, the service that they received. And just look at that and go, okay, well, how can I actually improve my business so that it doesn't happen again? I don't think we should be afraid of getting bad reviews, because if anything, it actually helps to show where your business is at, what you're doing well, and some of those things that you're not doing well. But your focus should always be to be the best you can. So if you're getting slammed with bad reviews, then you've really got to work hard to get some better reviews on there, whether or not that's reaching out to your existing client base, people that you know are going to give you a good review because you're doing great work for them, reaching out to them, getting that review section of the Google My Business listing up. Now, when it comes to Google, again, the algorithm will go, this business has got X amount of reviews, and they're actually responding to the reviews they're getting. If they're doing that, they're obviously alive, they're very capable, they're working on their online presence, and again, they'll start to boost your ranking up higher. So reviews is a really, really big one. So if you've got a Google My Business listing already and you really haven't done anything with it, or you haven't touched it since you started it however long ago, start working on your reviews first. I'd say out of the few things that we've talked about, reviews is a really big aspect of what we can be doing to make our Google My Business listings rank higher. The posts and the photos as well are definitely an element, but as far as I can tell through my research, reviews have generally got the biggest weighted factor to how your Google My Business listing will rank. Now, I'm just going to head back across. You've obviously seen, let's go back to this. You've obviously seen a lot of my desktop, so I'll head back to my face for the time being. Let's just check out our comments here. Shane, good to see you, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Lockie from Toolibah, good to see you as well, mate. We auto steer engage for safety. Love it. If you had the chance to do anything this week, I'd really encourage you to be looking at your Google My Business. So like I said, if you've already got a listing on there, get some more reviews. Reach out to your clients that you know are going to leave you a good review and say, look, would really appreciate you leaving us a review. It'll really help our business. Send them a link to where they can leave that review and boost that up. Likewise, if you've got a few photos on your phone that you can post up, post it up. Like, it doesn't take long to do these things. And once you've learned the Google My Business system, it really doesn't take long to update these sorts of things. So if you've got a chance to do anything this week, if you're in lockdown, if you're twiddling your thumbs a bit, if you find you've got an extra, half hour a day or an hour a day, I really encourage you to get into Google My Business and get your head around it a bit better than what you have. It is really bang for buck, and Google My Business is free. That's one of the greatest things about it, and something that I love as a business owner is that it's free and that it's just such a powerful tool to building your online presence to your prospective clients. I'm happy to take, for anyone who's still tuned in and watching, I'm happy to take any questions, but you're welcome to chuck them in the comments there if you would like to, in regards to Google My Business or just business in general at the moment. If there's anything you need help with, you're either welcome to reach out to me via the Boardroom page, this page. We've got a great online community that's starting to build a little bit of momentum, which is all focused on giving great content to your business and help to your business. No strings attached, it's a great online community of other small business owners. So we're just starting to build that up as we go. This particular video will be made available for free as a reference point in that group. So you're seeing this on the Boardroom page, our main business page at the moment, but we do have a closed group as well, which there is a link to, which if you're a small business owner and you're looking for some help or some tips or a community of other small business owners to be able to get around you and support you, I encourage you to head over there. Likewise, if there's anything else I can do to help, please shoot me a DM or send me an email. My email is paul@theboardroom.com.au. And would absolutely love to get in contact with you and to help you with your business. I hope this overview today of GMB has been helpful for you. Maybe kick up the butt a little bit to spend a bit of time this week on working on your GMB. I promise you that the time that you spend working on it and optimizing it and pushing more content into your GMB listing will have a huge effect on your online presence, and will bring you more clients, will bring you more revenue, and will build your online credibility, which in this day and age is a really important part of your business. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. This has been a really fun experience for me. I hope it's been helpful for you as well. If it has, please feel free to just in the comments let me know what stood out to you. If there's anything that you want me to focus on down the track, we'll look to do another live either in the next few days or at the latest Tuesday morning next week, same time. Really hope you can join us, and look forward to speaking with you then. Thanks heaps.